Monarchy. Monarchy is a system where power lies with a king or queen, and it is usually passed down within the same family from generation to generation. There are two types: absolute monarchy, like Saudi Arabia, where the king holds all authority and controls all aspects of the state; constitutional or symbolic monarchy, like Britain, where a monarch exists but does not interfere in governance, which is left to an elected government. The main drawback of monarchy is that it may bring unqualified individuals to power simply because they belong to the royal family, without regard for competence or the will of the people. Democracy. Democracy is a political system in which people participate in governance through free elections, choosing their representatives, and decisions are made based on majority rule. This system guarantees freedom of expression, the right to opposition, and separates the three powers, legislative, executive and judicial, to prevent power monopoly. It is one of the systems most respectful of human rights and is successfully implemented in countries like Sweden, Norway and New Zealand, where transparency and accountability are strong. Despite its advantages, democracy may suffer from instability due to changing governments and slow implementation of plans, in addition to voters potentially being influenced by media or special interests. Socialism. Socialism is a political and economic system where the state manages resources and production to achieve equality and reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. It aims to provide essential services like education, healthcare, and housing to all citizens without discrimination. It relies on collective or government ownership, where profits are used to benefit society instead of accumulating in the hands of a few. It is applied in various forms in countries like Cuba, China, and the former Soviet Union, with extensive state intervention in the economy. Its drawbacks include weak individual motivation for work and innovation, due to equalized incomes, as well as excessive administrative complexity that slows progress. Autocracy. Autocracy is a system where power is monopolized by one person, a king or a leader, who makes decisions without oversight or public participation. Elections are cancelled or merely symbolic, opposition is suppressed, and independent institutions are absent. Governance serves the ruler's interests without accountability, paving the way for tyranny. Examples include Stalin's rule in the Soviet Union and some military regimes. Its disadvantages include suppression of freedoms, lack of participation, and rulers remaining in power even when they fail, due to the absence of peaceful means for change. Federal government. The federal system divides power between a central government and local governments, such as states or provinces, each with its own authority. It is often used in large and diverse countries to ease administration and provide flexible governance. Example: the United States, where each state has its own laws and judicial system, in addition to complying with general federal laws. Its drawbacks include disparities in laws and services between regions and the possibility of conflict between central and local authorities. Oligarchy. In an oligarchy, a small group of wealthy individuals, influential people, or military leaders control governance, while the general public is excluded from decision-making. Elections are often symbolic, and institutions serve the interests of the elite. Some claim that countries like the United States are heavily influenced by big corporations, making them resemble this model. The main drawback is that the elite may govern to serve only their interests, increasing poverty, class inequality, and monopolization of opportunities. Republic. A republic is a political system in which the president and representatives are elected for fixed terms. Governance is carried out according to a constitution that defines the powers of each authority and separates executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Citizens participate in decision-making through elections and sometimes referendums. Transparency and accountability are assumed to ensure fair governance. There are presidential republics like Brazil, where the president holds wide executive powers, and parliamentary republics like Germany and India, where the president is ceremonial. Advantages include peaceful transfer of power and accountability. But in countries with weak institutions, governance can become symbolic and corruption may spread. Communism. Communism aims to eliminate differences between people by having the state control everything: land, factories, and money, so that there are no rich or poor. It is implemented in countries like North Korea and Cuba, and was the foundation of the Soviet Union. It is usually ruled by a single party without opposition or real elections. Communist ideology views religion as a tool for control, so it separates religion from the state, as seen in China and the Soviet Union. Despite aiming for equality, this system often leads to restriction of freedoms. Anarchism. Anarchism is a system that rejects government or any central authority, relying on people organizing their lives through voluntary cooperation and personal responsibility, without police or formal laws. This ideology believes in complete freedom and opposes all forms of control by the state, religion, or corporations. Communities are managed by consensus among individuals. However, it is difficult to implement as it requires high awareness and collective responsibility. Despite its goal of achieving freedom, the absence of law often leads to chaos, violence, and dominance by the powerful. Presidential system. In a presidential system, the people directly elect the president, who is responsible for leading the state and government. The president makes decisions and enforces laws independently of parliament. This system features a clear separation of powers. The president executes, the parliament legislates, and the courts interpret the law, preventing power monopoly. It is implemented in countries like the US, South Korea, and Brazil. Its advantage is stability, but the problem arises when the president abuses power, as removing them becomes difficult. Parliamentary system. Parliamentary system, the people elect the parliament, and the parliament chooses the prime minister to lead the government. If there is a president, the role is mostly ceremonial. Parliament legislates, oversees the government, and can withdraw confidence and replace it if it fails. Japan is an example of a country that uses this system. Constitutional government. A constitutional government limits the power of rulers and the government through a clear constitution that guarantees rights and freedoms and regulates the relationship among the three branches of power. No one is above the law, and each authority adheres to what the constitution permits. Its advantage is protecting citizens' rights and preventing tyranny. Its drawback is that laws can be difficult to amend even when they become outdated. Examples: the United Kingdom, the United States, Germany. Totalitarianism. In totalitarianism, the state or ruling party exerts total control over all aspects of life. There is no opposition, and propaganda and security forces are used to maintain power, monitor the people, and suppress dissent. The leader is often portrayed as an unchallengeable figure. North Korea is a clear example, as are Nazi Germany under Hitler and the Soviet Union under Stalin. Its major flaws include severe repression, lack of freedom, and human rights violations, creating an environment of fear and stagnation. Islamic system. The Islamic system is based on Sharia law derived from the Quran and Sunnah, and it aims to achieve justice, equality, and protection of rights within a religious and moral framework. The ruler implements Sharia and consults scholars through shura, consultation, while the judiciary is independent and rules by Islamic law. Power is shared between the ruler and consultative councils, with a balanced relationship between rights and duties. The system faces challenges in religiously diverse societies, but offers a model based on religious values and social justice. Historical examples include the Rashidun Caliphate, the Umayyad state, and the Abbasid state.